Hi, thank you for joining me. My name's Chloe, and today we're going to look at a very quick tutorial on how we can create a cool little loading bar with a GIF. Now, I'm just going to show you what we're trying to achieve here, and hopefully it'll give you a bit of inspiration. You may want to try and do something like this yourself. So I think it's a really nice feature, and it also kind of keeps the user entertained, especially when they're waiting for a screen to load up. So let's go ahead and play the app. And as you can see, our GIF walks along, our loading bar kind of goes with it, and then we get taken to our home page, which isn't very attractive at the moment, but that's a whole nother story. So let's take a look at actually recreating this home page, and I'll kind of talk you through what I've done. So you can see I've got a background here. We've got the GIF, which is just an image, and you can add a GIF to your Power App just by adding an image like you would usually. Now I'm going to show you how to do that. All you need to do is go to File, Media, and then here you can just click on Browse, and then it will take you to your usual file explorer, and then you can add in a GIF here. Now I got mine from a really good resource online, which I'll post the link to, and it's lots of free GIFs, and they're really useful. Some of these are the weather ones you can see I've got from there as well, and I've kind of adjusted the color myself by using an editor. But with this one in particular, you'll see that it's got no background, so it's a transparent GIF, which is really useful when you're trying to do things like this because you're not going to worry about color matching the background. Okay, so let's go back over to the app. The other thing that we've got here, if I just zoom in a little bit, is a actual loading bar, which is just a rectangle, and then we've got the word loading as well, just so it's clear to the user what's actually going on. So let's create a new blank screen. And what I'm going to do, just to make it look a little bit nicer, and because my GIF is white, I'm just going to add a background in here, otherwise you're not going to be able to see anything that I'm doing. So just when I've created a new page, I've come over here to the background image and just selected that from the drop down, which is just that media area which I showed you earlier. And then I'm going to change the image position to fill the screen. Okay, so that's looking good. Now let's add a label, and this is just the title of our app, so you don't really need to worry about this, but I'm just doing it just so we can kind of match up the one which I already made. So walk of the day, let's center that, let's make it bigger and change the font, and we want it to be white as well so we can see it nice and clearly. So now let's actually add the different elements that we've got here, and you can see on this screen we've got the loading path, which as I said is our rectangle. We've got the label loading, which is just that little bit of text. We've got our image, and we've also got a timer, which is how this is all working. That's actually been hidden just to make things look nice. So let's go ahead and add our walking GIF first. So I'm going to come over to media and click on image. I'm going to move it down a bit, and from our image we are going to go for this one, and it's a little bit too big, so let's just resize that and make it smaller. What I'm going to do here as well is just have a think about where I want this walking GIF to start. So I think probably over here is going to be a nice place for it. Now let's add our loading bar, which as I said, if I click on the right thing, that's just a rectangle. So let's find a rectangle from our icons list and just pop that underneath so it looks a bit like a path. As I say, you may want to use a different GIF. You might want to have the GIF kind of within the loading bar. It's completely up to you. And if I actually gave it a height, then we'd be able to see it. There we go. And let's fill that in white as well. Okay, so what we can actually see here is where the GIF is going to start, and we've got the full length of this rectangle. Now, if you can just think back to when I actually showed you this preview, what's actually happening is our GIF is moving along, so its X position, so that's its position from the left over here, is moving, whereas the loading bar, its X position isn't actually moving, it's just the width of the bar that is actually getting bigger, and that's how it kind of creates that visual. So let's add in our timer and then we can see how we can kind of get this all moving and working together. So I'm going to go over to the input and add a timer. I'm just going to leave that visible on the page. Let's just put it here because we just want to see it for now. So the duration of this timer, I'm going to set to 5,000, which is going to be 5 seconds. So that's how long it's going to take our person and our bar to get from here all the way over here. So you might want to change that. You might want it to happen a lot quicker. But because this is a loading screen for my app, I'm fairly confident to say that it's going to take about 5 seconds to load up and have that information there on the home page, which is why 5 seconds is a good time for this. If you do have a lot of content being loaded up, you might need it to be 10 seconds or something like that. And then your walking GIF will also go slower according to that. Okay, so we've got a duration set to 5 seconds. We want this to automatically start when the page, when we land on the page. So let's go over to auto start and we want to change that to true. And another thing that we want to do just when this timer ends, so on timer end, we're going to want to navigate away from this page. So this is where we're going to want to go to our home page. So let's do a navigate and we want to go to home. And with your screen transition here, it might be nice to do a cover, so that's where it kind of slides over. I'm quite liking a fade at the moment, so I'm just going to go for a fade. Cool, so that's the timer all done. So what we're going to look at next is just the values of our GIF and also our rectangle. What I'm going to do actually is just add that loading text there, which I kind of forgot about. Let's put this here and put loading, center, make that white. Okay, so it's looking a little bit better now. So let's move on to the how we can determine where this is on the page. Now, as I said before, we're looking at the X value here. So if we click on X over here, or we can just navigate to it from this drop down, this is where we can customize the X position of this GIF. Now, a little bit of maths coming in here for you, and I've got this kind of calculation from Mikkel Svensson, which you can find over here. I'll post the link in, but he has done a reduction of an image. So I've kind of used this calculation because I'm not great at maths. I would not have been able to do it myself. So the first number that we're looking at is our X position. And I think I said 84 was a good position. Let's just check and put it back at 84. Yep, I'm happy for that to be where our GIF starts. So I'm just going to leave it at that for now. So following on with that calculation, I'm going to do 84 plus, and then just in the brackets here, we need to put in where do we want this GIF to end. So I'm just going to try and figure out, let's get an idea of what the number is over here. So if we just look at the X value here, so 5, 2, 6 might be a good place for it to end. So that's just the position over here that the GIF is going to be kind of done and the time is going to end. You could have it going all the way to the end of the page if you really wanted to, but I don't really want to. And I've already forgot what number I said there, so I'm just going to go for 500 and hope for the best. So what we need to do now is this 500 value, which is the end position, we want to times this by the timer value over the timer duration, if that makes sense. So I've not named my timer, which I should have done, but you can see here that it's called timer 3. So I'm going to go for timer 3 dot value. So this is the current time of the timer. So if you imagine it's auto started, within 1 second, this timer value is going to be 1 second. So we want to divide that by the timer dot duration, which is just that duration value which we set, which as you can remember, it was 5 seconds. And that's all we need to do for that. So that, we'll close off the brackets. Yep. close off the brackets, and then what we want to do is the same thing. So let's just copy all of this to make it nice and easy for our rectangle, but we actually want to edit the width of the rectangle, not its X position. Otherwise, this whole thing is just going to come over here, which is not what we want. So let's delete that and paste in these values here. And I think I may have done something wrong. Okay, okay, so we're going to want this width actually to just be, what do we want it to be for now? Shall we say 10? Maybe let's go for 20. So that's just the kind of position that it's at. Actually, I think I want it to be a little bit longer just because we want it to look like the person is actually walking on top of it, if that makes sense. Okay, so I think that's good to go. Let's play the app and take a look. And as you can see, this is working as expected. I may have gone a little bit too far there with the X value. So I did go for 500 and you could see it was kind of trailing off the page a little bit. It's come all the way over here. So that might be a little bit too far. It will probably be better being 400 or 350 or something like that. So once you've made your animation, you're happy you've tested it, that's when you can probably go in to this timer, go into the visible and set that to false. And then this is all going to happen nice and smoothly and seamlessly and hopefully provide a nice little visual for your users. One last thing, just remember to be updating these like I didn't do. Just make sure you're updating these so it's easy to know what you're referencing. So you might want to call this timer GIF timer or something like that just to make it nice and clear. Okay, so that's the end of this little video. Hope you enjoyed it. Do leave some comments if you have any questions or if you have any other ideas for a similar video. But yeah, hopefully this has helped you. And thanks for watching.